Hello coin collectors out there, welcome back to the Big D Coins channel. In front of us right here we have a 1953, 54, 55, skip all the way until 1968 and then 69 Lincoln cents. Now interestingly, there weren't any San Francisco Mint pennies that were made from 1956 up until 1967. Now the reason for that still exists today, and the reason for that is that people find the San Francisco Mint coins to be extra cool based on the fact that they generally have much lower mintage. I know I do, living here on the East Coast. The San Francisco Mint pennies are hard to come across, and that was still the case back in the late 1950s, early 1960s. It was so bad, in fact, that they stopped putting the San Francisco Mint coin on them because the country was going through a coin shortage. And not only were people at the time hoarding entire coin rolls, but they were actually hoarding the bags themselves. So a coin bag would have 5,000 coin rolls in it. So that would be a huge haul that someone would just pick up at the bank. They'd get entire bags worth and then just not put them back into circulation. So obviously that caused some huge errors with the production amount. Well, not really errors, but unintended consequences with the production amount. So the Mint had to make some corrective action for people to stop doing that. So from 1956 until 1967, they stopped producing S Mint mark pennies. So if you're still looking for one of those, you're not going to come across them. And what they did starting around the early 1970s is to combat this, they actually had they started mixing up the coins prior to them being distributed. So they would have different rolls mixed up with from different mints before they got distributed to the banks, so that San Francisco Mint pennies would go all across the country and they wouldn't be concentrated, so people couldn't hold on to entire bags worth. As far as the mintages of these coins go, as I mentioned earlier, San Francisco Mint pennies tend to have lower mintage. So in 1953, there were 181 of this one. 181 million of these produced. There were 96 million of the 54, and there were just 44 million of the 1955, so that's pretty low. Then fast forward till 1968, there are 258 million of the San Francisco 1968. There are also 547 million of the 1969 San Francisco Mint penny. Now 1969 actually presents us a little bit more interesting facts as well. So 1969 has the only real valuable error in this series of 5 years for the San Francisco Mint pennies that we're talking about today. 1969 has the number 7 on the PCGS top 100 coin modern coin list, and that coin is the 1969 S doubled die Lincoln cent in a mint state condition. There are only about 3 dozen that have been known to survive. Now that error is listed on the PCGS website. It's also listed in the Cherry Picker's Guide to Rare Die and Error Coins. Now the doubling on it is extreme. That's what's the primary reason for the price tag being so high. Now PCGS has valued some of them very, very high. So the most valuable one that they've graded is a Mint State 63, and they've got a price guide on that one of $62,500. But here's a little bit of a description of the 1969 doubled die coming to you from the Cherry Picker's Guide. So there's extremely strong doubling is evident on all obverse lettering and numbers. Now that is pretty extreme in itself. Let me adjust the lighting for you here to get some better lighting on this particular one right here. So there's doubling on all of the lettering. Now that's very rare. Usually it's isolated to just specific sections of the coin, but in 1969 S there's doubling on all of the obverse lettering. Now here's some more of the description from the PCGS website. It kind of chronicles the different years that people have found these. So the 1969 S double die obverse cent is a very rare variety that has enjoyed steady price appreciation over the years. And then one coin collector recounts the following. In 2007, anonymous collector purchased 2 rolls of 1969 cents from Michigan coin dealer and found a 1969S double die obverse cent in each roll. Since then, numerous other examples have been discovered. More recently, in July 2011, PCGS has graded 31 examples, including 3 red-brown and 3 red examples. Now, if you've got yours in the red example, that's going to drastically shoot up the price, just like you kind of hear me say very often. But as far as the differentiation between the red and the red-brown, to get the red designation, it has to have at least 95% of the original red to it. If we compare these two right here, one's a 1969S, the other is a 1968. So this one right here could probably get that red designation. This one would get the brown designation. So this has less than 5% of the original red coloring to it. The one on the right here has 95 or greater. In between there is where you get the red-brown designation. So 5 to 95%. That will get you the red-brown designation, which, when you're looking at the PCGS coin facts to the price guide, will make a big difference as far as the price of the coin. So to recap what we talked about today, we got into the 1969S double die obverse Lincoln cent. That is going to be a very, very valuable coin. PCGS has graded around 30 of them. The most valuable is valued at $62,500. We also talked about the mintages on the 1968S. And then, most importantly, we talked about the reason why you're not going to find any that were made between 1956 and 1967. That's because all the coin collectors out there were getting bags and boxes and crates full of them and just not putting them into circulation because they believe that they depreciate in value, creating a shortage and then prompting the action for the United States Mint to take. All right, everyone, that's all I've got for today's video. If you're into coin collecting and you're still watching at this point, please do hit that subscribe button. If you've got any recommendations as far as videos you'd like to see on the channel, feel free to let me know. Thank you very much, everyone, and best of luck coin collecting out there. Enjoy!